Now you're going to have to cut slots in foam to put in your wing spar, and basically you can just cut your wing or whatever in half and cut a channel, cut a V groove in the edge, and then glue the whole thing back together again. But if you want to get fancy, the better way to do it, I believe, would be to melt it. Let's see if I got this set up right. Doesn't look right. This is nothing more than a soldering iron with a replaceable tip. And I've ground the soldering iron down. Let me see if I can zoom in on this for you. I ground the soldering iron down to a kind of like the end of a flat screwdriver. And I'm using the little clamp as a depth gauge. I'm using the, let me see, I'm using the screw part of the clamp as a depth gauge so I don't go too deep in the foam. Now let's show you what I just did. Saw how easy that moved through the foam. It's very quick. Here's a, I think this is a 5mm spar, and it goes right in there very nicely. I didn't quite cut it quite long enough. There goes that bite. So it pops right in there quite nice. Put a little bead of epoxy in there first. Pour a little epoxy on the top, or rotate the spar so that it's evenly coated with epoxy, and you've got your wing spar in it, and you haven't I'm still zoomed in, and you haven't ruined the integrity of the foam. The melted channel takes the spar just very nicely, and now you've got a stronger piece of plastic instead of just the foam. All the plastic is still there, it just moved aside, and so that's hard plastic, which would make, I think, this joint even stronger. You can, of course, cut a groove and do it by hand and fake it, and then take your flat stiffener here and put it right in there. What I did was I made a cut, and then I moved the straight edge back just the tiniest amount, and made another cut and made another cut. About 3 of those cuts, and you should have no problem putting in the flat carbon fiber stiffener. But the soldering iron thing is very cool. The soldering irons come with multiple tips, or you can buy spare tips so that you're not ruining the soldering iron. You just take this particular one. I got it I don't know, your home improvement store, and right there it has a little set screw. Take that set screw out, tip comes right out. Put a new tip in, and I was using this. This is an 80-watt soldering iron. I was using this for soldering battery packs together, NIMENs, NICADs, and does a real nice job. Heats everything up real quick, gets the solder to flow, and then doesn't harm the battery. But I've ground this one right down to do that to foam.